You know that one guitar player for Limp Bizkit?
Yeah.
Totally blind.
Really?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Who knows anything about Limp Bizkit anymore?
Who cares? You know what?
Where are they now?
I know a little bit because I looked up their Mission Impossible theme after we talked about it last week.
Did you hear what I was talking about? Like they can't actually play the Mission Impossible theme,
Yes.
so they just
Man.
yeah.
That was the worst song of all time. No one know why you want to hate me. Yeah. Because hate is all that they want to see lately. For fuck's sake! That's the worst fucking shit that's ever fucked.
Can you imagine what it was like when the producers received that theme for the song? They were like, I mean, now was this the period of time where they listened to it and they went, yeah, that's the one. This is what we're going to be remembered for, or were they all looking at each other like, do we have it in the budget to get a new one? Yeah.
Say what you will, they were selling like fucking mad back then.
Oh, I shamefully must admit, I own Limp Bizkit's album Significant Other. Like, I bought it.
Oh, boy.
I bought it and I still have it. What? Ah.
And keep in mind, folks, this is the one who's trying to convince you how great this movie is.
Hey!
Those aren't connected.
What's your prediction for the fight?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain. Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of the women. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed? I ain't got time to bleed.
I feel the need for speed.
See, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns, and those who dig. You dig.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
It's all in the reflexes.
John Hates Movies presents Bro-vember.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with a gun.
Dylan! You son of a bitch!
You're either with us or bro-against us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my friends prevent me from producing a movie written entirely by my 5-year-old little brother and instead force me to watch movies.
Good work, James.
Yeah, I know, it was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was totally awesome.
Psych.
Psych.
Makes sense, too.
This week we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally ho.
We have with us Jamie Donaldson.
My destiny rests in your capable hands, Jack.
We have Colin McMillan.
Well, it's like old Jack Burton always says. Jack Burton says, hey, pal, the check is in the mail.
That kind of almost sounded like Patrick Warburton there.
I know. Like, I was thinking about that through the entire movie. I was like, if this was redone, it would be Patrick Warburton. Hey, it's like Patrick Warburton always says, the check is in the mail.
It's like a little bit of Patrick Warburton and a little bit of John Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of bit of John Wayne.
Yeah.
And, of course, we have with us James Barup.
James Barup, the same James Barup from Michigan who works for the state, who lives just over there in that house. I heard he's doing a podcast. I heard he does a podcast called John Hates Movies. A podcast is like a radio show that is on the internet. Maybe we should stop him now. We'll go in the front door.
James, we don't have time to discuss that right now. Hi, it's me, Colin McMillan, local scientist.
Don't mind me, I'm just James Barup, podcaster.
And I am your host, John Barup. That's right. If you haven't figured it out, boy, have you been missing the 80s. We watched...
If you haven't figured it out, you're in for some Big Trouble.
I see what you did there. That's right. We watched Big Trouble in Little China.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Boo.
When an ancient magician kidnaps his friend's fiancée, a two-fisted trucker and a sexy attorney must navigate a shadowy realm to capture the culprit.
Two-fisted trucker.
That's a trucker who has two PBRs in both. So this is starring Kurt Russell, God bless him. Kim Cattrall
as John Wayne.
Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, and directed by John Carpenter. It's interesting to note that on Netflix, absolutely none of the Asian actors in this movie get credited.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, two of the main characters are definitely like the two of the principal actors are Asians, and they don't even get top billing.
Yes. So other than Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall, the next two are the old guy and the kung fu guy. Right? Yeah.
And Lopan.
Yeah, man. David Lopan.
That one guy from
David
Golden
Lopan
Child
style.
And, Sulu's dad from Star Trek. And
the Emperor's Major Domo from Mulan.
And don't forget, he had a role in The Golden Child. Poor guy. All right. As is tradition on John Hates Movies, the person who picked the movie gets to review first. So strap yourselves in for some unbridled positivity as we hand the reins over to Colin McMillan.
Thanks, John. Don't get up. It's just me, Colin McMillan, movie reviewer. So, I'm sensing some dissension in the ranks. So before we have Big Trouble in Little Podcast, let me tell you a little bit about what you don't know you're watching when you're watching Big Trouble in Little China. This is actually not a movie. It's an account of a Dungeons & Dragons game that is falling apart. This is what happened, all right? You got a guy who's running his magnum opus campaign, and this is the dude that created this movie. Also Lopan. Well, because he's a bad guy. He's
Right.
So this dude has created this mystical juju plot with this really powerful sorcerer named Lopan, and our players are the guy Wang, who is the DM's best friend, and this was supposed to be like sort of his gift to him. Like, I got this great campaign, and I want you to play this character, and it's going to be really cool because you're going to be the main guy. And he was like, sweet. And then you've got the DM's girlfriend, who plays Gracie Law, who's like, the princess slash MacGuffin character, and she's like totally into the role playing. Then you've got one of her girlfriends who plays that reporter girl who she made a really cool character, but she's kind of too timid to ever talk at the table, so her character never really does anything. Then there's the guy that made the character Eddie, who hasn't been to the table in 3 weeks, so his character's basically been made into an NPC and doesn't do anything. But today, things are different because the DM's girlfriend has a friend at the restaurant that she works at, and she thought it would be really fun if that guy came and gamed with them this weekend. And that dude rolled up Jack Burton.
Yeah, I can see that.
So Jack Burton drops into the game, and this guy does not know anything about playing D&D.
Let me tell you about pork chops.
Yeah, he makes a character. He makes a character that he thinks will be cool. Like, he's like, I'll make a rogue or something. That's cool. And he's like, oh, lightning reflexes. That sounds like a cool feat. My guy will have really good reflexes. And the DM's like, the game doesn't really work like that. And he's like, no, this is going to be sweet. And so he spends all of his gold on like one knife and a truck. and the whole.
Oh, he's got a Tech 9 too.
Right? No, he finds that. Oh, he doesn't start with that. He finds that.
He can't even gear up at the fucking armor. He only gets half a shirt.
Homeboy starts with a t-shirt, and he barely keeps that on. So, but the thing is, the campaign's almost through, and the DM is the kind of DM that doesn't have the guts to kill anybody. So even though this guy is absolutely clowning and doesn't care at all about the rules, he never gets killed, and he just does ridiculous stuff, and the rest of the people think he's funny. So what happens is this guy completely derails this game, but the guy playing Wang thinks this dude is funny, so he's like totally going with it. Every time this guy does something asinine, this guy's cracking up, and it's the best time he's had at this table, like, for the entire campaign. Because this dude is funny. Because at the end of the day, he's the only one that gets it, that this is a game. Like, he's the only one that remembers to bring beer to the D&D table.
Gotcha.
And he brought like a 24-pack. Yes. So he derails the whole game and manages to accidentally kill the villain because he, like, you know, I don't know. I actually have statted up how to make Jack Burton a character able to do nothing other than kill the boss with a dagger.
So that's like 19 decks, right?
Oh yeah, something like that. Like, he's got really high dexterity. He has a bunch of stupid stuff, and
he rolls a natural 1 followed by a natural 20.
Yeah, like,
right.
Like this is how it goes. This guy just rolls a 20, and so this whole thing falls apart. So when I'm watching this movie, I think it's hilarious because, like, you can see it the way the characters are. Like, oh, hi guys, I'm Nightblade, the halfling thief. Like, you know, everybody's introducing themselves by their class and, like, what they do. And just catching Jack Burton up on this story that's clearly been going on for a really long time before he got there. and they're trying their damnedest to roleplay, but the thing has gone so far off the rails that, like, nobody even cares anymore because they're just having way more fun fucking around.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
yeah, I can get that. I mean, there are several different ways to watch this movie, and I'll get to that, but keep going, Colin. This is pure brilliance. I haven't heard this one before, so this is really cool.
So, you know, yeah, like, he doesn't even bother rolling dice through most of the game. He just goes, okay, so they're coming, right? And I got my Tech 9, right? Okay, so I give my huge battle cry, and I fire in the air, and, like, can I say, like, I shoot the ceiling and it falls on me, and, like, I'm knocked out, and
for like 2 turns.
Yeah, for like 2 turns, and, you know, everybody's just like, "That's so fucking awesome, dude." And the guy running the game is
because they're drunk too.
The guy running the game is because he brought a fucking 24-pack of like something happening.
Natty.
Yeah. yes, they're all drinking Natty Ice and, like, just having the time of their lives.
Ice, wow.
Well, this.
Yeah, so they're getting shitty.
Yes. I mean, come on. Like, you watch this movie. Are they not starting out sober and ending up shitty?
Correct.
There's a fucking magic potion. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. That one dude playing the one dude that rolled a wizard is like, "Here, guys, I have a potion. What's it do?" They fuck it. I don't know. Whatever. It makes you super.
Makes you super.
It's a 6-demon bag.
Yeah, it's a 6-demon bag. That's probably, like, a really important magic item designed just for this campaign. But do we care what it does? No, but we definitely care that Jack Burton is drunk. So, but then something awful happens at the end of the game. The DM has had enough of Jack Burton's shit because obviously his girlfriend has a crush on this dude that she works with. And so he's like, well, fuck it, because this guy's managed to get himself in the room with the final boss long before they're supposed to be there. And so Jack Burton hurls a dagger at the guy, and the DM is clowning, so he's like, well, he catches it and he throws it back at you. You miss and he throws it back at you. He rolls and he's like, Lopan hits you with the dagger, and Jack Burton's player suddenly goes, well, hold on, I got these gloves of arrow snaring. What? Yeah, they let me catch a projectile attack, and it says here in the rules that I can immediately throw it back. Okay, so I throw it back at Lopan. Wow, I rolled a 20! Hey, what can I do with this hero point? Well, you can, bend the rules a little. Can I say he was flat-footed? What? Yeah, actually, he can do that. This is like Wang's player chiming in. Yeah, he could do that. That's an appropriate use of the hero point. Okay, so I get my sneak attack damage, right? And I got a natural 20, so I get to roll for a crit now, right? Yeah. Okay, well, that's a +5 punching dagger that I spent all my money on. So that has a ×3 critical and +5 damage plus my strength, right? And my point-blank shot, right? So it's got like +12 to damage at this point, right? Yeah, plus my sneak attack and triple the die damage, right? So that's, let's see, 3d4 plus 36 plus 96 sneak attack. So that's 74 points of damage. Holy shit! Well, okay, well, he takes it, no problem. Well, hold on, says Wang's player. What about massive damage rules? What? Well, this guy's a 20th level sorcerer, right? He can't have more than, 120 hit points. So if you deal more than half of his life in a single hit, he has to roll a fortitude save or die. He does? Yeah. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, I'll roll, but I'll roll, but I don't think this is, I wouldn't worry about it, guys. He's going to live. Would you mind rolling that in front of us? Sure. Rolls a 1. Well, a 1 is an automatic failure on any saving throw, attack, or skill check, right? Yes. So he dies. Yeah, Lopan dies. Sweet! and the DM's about to flip the table, but all the players are just like, dude, that was awesome!
It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes. Exactly. It's all in the reflexes. So that's what's going down in Big Trouble in Little China.
I can't believe what just happened. I don't mean the D&D game. I mean what Colin just did. Holy shit! He just nerded it into being.
Yeah. You know what? Headcanon. This is canon from now on. I was down with the Jack Burton as the sidekick cast into the lead role, but now I'm really down with fucked up D&D game.
Yep, he's the guy that derails the D&D game.
Guys, I was going to have you fight the Eastern Demon and everything. You sure you want it to go down this way?
Yes, dude.
Yeah, we won! That's sweet!
Fuck you guys.
All right, well, I guess we've got 8 more beers left, so...
Well, guys, this was a lot of fun. I really got to get rolling. I got to open the restaurant tomorrow. But thanks for having me. This was great.
Let's do it again.
We totally gotta do this again. Yeah, so, oh, Jesus.
Aren't you going to give her a kiss goodbye?
Nope.
Nope.
You know what, guys?
Goodness.
Fuck this. The fucking ape monster fucking kills him in his truck as he's leaving. He's never fucking coming back again.
You can't come back next week. You can't come back.
So,
I'm
Colin,
ripping
that
off
was
his character
absolutely-
sheet right now.
That was absolutely spectacular. Do you want to give us some thoughts on what you really feel about the movie, or was that pretty much it?
Yeah, I can give a couple thoughts about the actual movie. Although I really did like the first time I watched this movie, I was discussing that with some folks after the fact, and we were just having a good laugh about it. But this time, I was thinking about it while I was watching the movie, and I was like, no, this is really how I want to interpret this movie.
It's like, good God, it fits.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit. I really like this movie. It's not like everything in it is great. It's some serious 80s camp, but I'll be damned if I don't love the shit out of some Kurt Russell. Because,
oh yeah,
man, he's so funny, and like, I love him in this movie, and I love the fact that Jack Burton is completely, he does not belong in the story at all. You know, like, what is he even doing here? And I love that he sucks at everything, and is basically like the worst Great White Hope ever. I mean, and I actually do like most of the characters in the movie. I'm really glad that they, let some Asian actors have American accents in this movie. I like that. I did not bother to look up the name of the guy that plays Lopan, but I think he's freaking great as Lopan, and one thing I noticed that this time that I didn't notice the first time is when he finally gets made flesh and he doesn't have the ghost makeup on and stuff. I actually think that Lopan looks really cool. Lopan is a cool villain. I really do like Lopan for a villain. I like the whole thing. I also couldn't help making some comparisons to one of my least favorite movies we reviewed, The Golden Child, and I feel like where they missed the mark repeatedly in The Golden Child, they hit in Big Trouble in Little China. Jack Burton's certainly smarmy, but he's not really sleazy, and certainly a great deal more likable than Eddie Murphy in The Golden Child. And I don't know, I feel like it's a lot more fun and a lot tighter all around than that movie. This is not a serious adventure movie. It's funny. It's funny and it's dumb, and it's silly. And crack a beer and enjoy it. It's Miller time.
Well, that's great, Colin. Thank you.
Yeah. So Johnny, I would love to pick it up from here because
you got it.
What I want to say actually has to do with the Golden Child.
Oh.
So Colin, you gave me a good segue. Because this movie was produced in 1984, but it was 1986.
Right.
But it was rushed into production and rushed through photography because they found out that The Golden Child would be coming out later that year. So they had to rush a bunch of CGI effects. They had to cut a bunch of scenes out of the movie. They didn't have as much time as they wanted to build sets and all that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and I
thought the sets were pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree. They weren't shitty.
I want to read from Wikipedia here. The problems began to arise when Carpenter learned that the next Eddie Murphy vehicle, the Golden Child, featured a similar theme and was to be released the same time as Big Trouble in Little China. As it happened, Carpenter was asked by Paramount to direct the Golden Child. He remarked in an interview, how many adventure pictures dealing with Chinese mysticism have been released by major studios in the past 20 years, and now 2 of them come out at the exact same time. It's some kind of coincidence. So, to beat the rival production at being released in theaters, Big Trouble went into production in 1985 so that it could open in July of 86, 5 months before Golden Child, at Christmas time.
Huh.
So yeah, like this movie, a lot of kind of the camp in it, was kind of because they had to get through it quicker than Eddie Murphy at the Golden Child, which, that's kind of.
He just wanted some chips.
They first offered it to Carpenter and he thought it was outrageous. But it had a few interesting elements. And to compete with the Golden Child's casting of box office draw Eddie Murphy, they wanted a big star of their own and asked both Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson. Yes, they asked Clint Eastwood and Jack Nicholson to be in the movie, but obviously they had better things to do.
This movie would not have been cool with either of those guys in it, though.
No,
it's got to be Kurt Russell.
Yeah, you are correct. Kurt Russell is good in this part. Now, all of that being said, I don't know. Big Trouble in Little China. Okay, Colin, this reminded me of some other movies that I've seen, but I can't exactly figure out what they are, where these characters throughout this movie were all rapid fire spitting their dialogue at each other.
Yeah.
Like machine gun dialogue. That's what happened in this movie. And there wasn't inflection in a lot of it. There wasn't nuance to any of it. Nobody was acting. They were just
you could
barely off their lines.
It was spitting lines.
Yeah. It was role playing.
I guess so.
These aren't actors, they're a bunch of nerds that are drunk for the first time in 6 months.
Oh, I thought Kim Cattrall was cool. I thought she was good.
Cool.
Sure. Yeah. She's cool. She didn't bother me. Overall, this is... Look, I don't have a ton to say.
Come to my house.
She was tolerable.
Or anything.
Okay, I didn't like the old Asian dude that looked like he had a stroke.
With the eye?
Yeah, Egg Foo Young's
the bus driver.
Yeah, the bus driver.
Bus driver / wizard.
Didn't matter. He's rich, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason.
So yeah, speaking of rich man Egg Foo Young and his bus tours, what the hell was the deal with that prelude? When he's sitting in there talking to the lawyer and the lawyer's like, I don't think there's magic, and he was like, I show you magic, and then he does electricity. What was that?
Dude, you can't ask what the deal is with anything in this movie because there is no deal.
They were 10 minutes short.
Hey,
they were 10 minutes short on production.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, they were 10 minutes short. This was a 99-minute movie. They could have cut 9 minutes off the top. No problem.
Yeah, they never did go back to that opening frame.
No, they did. That's the thing. It was can't bookend a movie and only have half of a book.
the end and epilogue. Egg Shen was prosecuted for some reason.
And he hung himself in jail.
Yeah, I know, Johnny. Like only having one bookend, like all your books fall over still.
Exactly.
They did that in Aladdin. Aladdin had one bookend. What happened to the merchant? I was interested in his story.
He had a song even.
He came from a land from a faraway place. Where is that?
What? Yeah, that's true.
This is not the only movie with one bookend.
That's no,
Here's the
obviously
hint.
not.
The merchant was the genie the entire time.
What?
The genie became the merchant.
and the lawyer was.
That's why he was
the
selling
ape
the
monster
lamp.
the entire time.
Oh no, the lawyer was Charles
Yes.
Dance.
Hello,
That's why
I'm
you
a
sounded
lawyer and also an ape
suspiciously
monster.
like Robin Williams.
It was Sardo Numspa.
All right, so I've got one more thing for you guys. It's a little bit of truck splaining.
Yeah!
Oh yeah.
We don't have a song for this one.
Truck
folks.
splaining
Excited.
time.
You ever want to know about trucks? It's truck splaining time.
I like that song.
I do. Okay, I guess we do have a song for it.
So throughout the whole movie, Kurt Russell's driving his truck around, but he doesn't have a trailer on it. Do you know in the trucking world what the slang term for that is?
No.
Ooh, I did know that.
Bobtail.
Oh,
Bobtailing.
Ah.
Yeah.
So they call him Bobtail
Yes.
and Jack Burton.
Right. Okay, yeah. Who the hell is he?
His CV isn't even plugged in.
I mean, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like Bobtail and pork chopper Jack Burton is just like screaming into an unplugged microphone.
So Eric,
Like it's like that's what I assume James does when he's not podcasting, is he's sitting in his room screaming into a microphone, hoping somebody's listening.
Eric,
That's how I
maybe,
came up with the idea for podcasting.
Eric, maybe you can truck explain this to me. I've heard that in the trucker world, there's like the whole opening sequence where he is just talking to nobody. I've heard that that's a thing. Like there's always some guy that just won't shut the fuck up on the scene.
Yes, absolutely. And like so when I once I started learning about trucking and my dad was trucking, I was like, hey, so do you guys do that like CB talk and like, you know, all that like truckers talking back and forth? He's like, no, that's really annoying. I turned the CB off because there are just always a bunch of crazy people that just want to shout into the CB like and have people listen to them, and it's always ridiculous. So I just listen to the radio. So yeah,
so you're saying
like,
that
people
was
do that.
A+ for accuracy.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I also, for some reason, I just love that he's just smashing on a Philly steak. Like,
Yeah, there's fuckers on there who are singing like it's American Idol and shit. Like,
oh my god,
yeah,
that would be
it's
me.
really
That would be
fucking
me.
good. They talk forever and then they go, "Well, here's a little song I wrote."
The lap dance is always better
When
when the
the stripper is
stripper's crying. Yeah.
Ape monster on my trailer hitch. Ape monster on my trailer hitch.
Oh, goodness gravy.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
it sounds like
that's-
you loved it, Eric.
Well, you know, I did watch the movie.
Yep.
So
And King Control
that's where we're
did
going to
not-
leave it.
You heard it.
Do anything to you.
You heard it here, folks. He loved it every minute.
You know, I don't think that's exactly what he said, Colin. But
I believe his words are. It was like Convoy Plus.
yeah.
Convoy Special Edition.
Yeah. Convoy Renegade Cut.
Convoy 2, Convoy in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Convoy 2 Electric Kung Fu Galoo.
There we go. Kung Fu Galoo.
Fantastic. So, who is next? Jamie or James?
I'll go
Alright,
next.
okay, you go.
Well, I think we should go, you know, somebody who liked it, somebody who didn't like it, and somebody who liked it.
Yay!
And then whatever James thought.
I love turkey sandwiches.
Yummy.
Have you guys ever seen my dick?
It's
Here, let me
huge.
show it to you.
Classic James.
Oh,
All right,
boy.
Jamie,
That's the
what
problem
do
with
you got for us?
CBs.
All right, I took some notes.
All right.
First thing I have on here is it's Deep Throat from X-Files. He's doing the interview for Egg.
Oh,
I don't know
was
if you
it?
guys ever watched X-Files. Yeah.
Oh, damn it! I don't know how I missed that. I love. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry.
Did you almost just say I love Deep Throat?
I did almost. But then I
Hey, John,
remembered.
Yeah.
step on my shit.
That's
No,
how
you
we are.
can't. Get off.
But no, it's not Deep Throat that I'm fond of. It's
The Smoking Man.
Well,
it's the Smoking
you
Man
should
that
try
I'm
it.
fond of. Yes.
Well, Deep Throat, I just read in IMDb, he's going to be in the new X-Files,
Ooh.
along with Smoking Man. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm very psyched about it. My wife is losing her mind about it.
Well, yeah.
She's a huge X-File. Kurt Russell as John Wayne, as Jack Burton. I love how he delivers it as John Wayne. It just makes it so much more redonkulous.
Mhm.
It's just, and that's just what this movie is all about. It's just like so crazy and funny and goofy, and it's just like we're gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
The answer is nothing.
A weird way to pronounce everything.
I was gonna say, when nothing sticks, everything sticks.
Next note is the Chinese girl with green eyes. So how do we get a Chinese girl with green eyes? You get an American girl and dye her hair black,
Oh yeah.
or you get green contacts, I imagine. But the girl to
Yeah.
me didn't look. She looked like a dye job to me, personally.
yeah, I thought so too. I thought so. When
I
they
thought
show
they
that,
were green
when
contacts.
they show that first picture, and he's like, "Look at my girlfriend from China." Yeah, I was like, "Really?"
She looks about as Asian as I do, which is, you know,
What tribe
Enough
is she
Asian
from?
to make you look American Indian.
she looks
Native American.
she looks more Native American to me. I guess is what I'm trying to say. But interesting bit of information I just got from my wife Jess, who works as an ophthalmic technician, is that the those colored contacts that people often buy for Halloween,
Mhm.
those are actually illegal in the U.S.
What?
They're illegal because they can cause some serious damage to your corneas. Lords of Chinatown gang member with the squinty eyeglasses. I thought that was interesting.
Those are sweet.
That was a choice.
What?
That was
Yeah,
definitely
I
a
guess.
choice.
It's like, look how Asian I am. Even my sunglasses are squinty.
Oh.
That's all I could figure.
Once again, it's okay for Jamie to
Yep.
make the joke.
Only I can do it. Yep.
It was a good thing you went first.
You're all thinking it. All right. Jack can really thread the needle with that truck. I mean, going down those alleys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty. I was pretty impressed by that. That set. Okay, so the Kung Fu fighters show up. They're wearing turbans, bandoliers, 6-shooters on their hips, and got AK-47s.
Yes.
And all I say is just talk about fusion. That's Asian fusion right there.
So when the screenplay was first written for this movie, it was supposed to take place in the gold rush era in San Francisco.
Oh, for real?
And so it was supposed to be a Western. That's why Kurt Russell is a cowboy. That's why there's all this like Old West kind of stuff. Like there's a showdown, Mexican standoff, the Chinese standoff. Like that's that kind of thing.
It's a Chinese standoff.
Right. That like it was supposed to be a Western originally.
Wow.
Yep.
And then somebody said, fuck it, he's a trucker.
Yes.
We'll work around it.
So much better. Well, no wonder they wanted Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
Bonk.
Why is Jack wearing Ren Fair boots?
He was totally wearing Ren Fair boots.
Totally Ren Fair. They strapped all the way up. They went up to his knee.
Terrible
They're
Ren Fair
brown
boots.
leather. I mean, granted, he did keep his boot knife in there. Like, you can't really keep boot knives in regular boots, but those were some serious boots. Kind of out of character for him, I think. And some serious jean tucking into those boots.
Yes.
Yeah, from the knees down, he's kind of a Nancy.
This movie did Raiden 3 times better than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Not only did they have a better rating, they had 3 ratings that were better than Mortal Kombat. They could have got any one of those guys to do Raiden in Mortal Kombat, but they didn't. What's the lamer weapon? The back scratchers or the spinny forks?
Spinny forks.
Spinny forks. That was my vote.
But why would you have those on the inside of your hands?
I don't know.
That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, what if you bend your finger by accident?
You're right. I know.
My next note is no pacing issues here. I'm having a little trouble keeping up. Things just are moving so quick, and they're going from one plot point to the next. And I don't know if it's a pacing issue in terms of like being too fast, but it never got slow.
The good news is that another character will walk in at any second and explain the entire thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What they're going to do for the next 20 minutes.
And you'll be
Which
like,
is the next note I have is the apartment scene after Meow Lin is kidnapped.
Meow Lin.
That's her name.
I know.
It's just so funny.
Actually, it was like MIOW, but I put meow as in a cat meowling because that's how they said it in the movie.
Meow.
Meow.
Meow
Lin.
Meow Lin. We have to go
The
rescue her
apartment
right
scene
now.
after she was kidnapped was exposition overload. That's a lot of that dialogue you guys were
big
talking
time.
about,
Yeah.
where it's like every line explained something. But it was like one line that explained something, followed by another one that explained something else. Like each line was a paragraph, which was a cue to somebody else's paragraph line. It was crazy. It's just like they fit so much crap in there. So this movie would have you believe that if a trained kung fu henchwoman attacks a man of little or no ability, the henchwoman could be knocked out in one punch.
Yep.
Did you notice that? It's like there was a lot of henchmen in this movie. And there was only one scene, kind of like over a bridge or something, where henchwomen came and jumped out and attacked them. And they were like flipping and doing, crazy stuff with weapons and everything. And then it's like they nail one good one on their chin and they're down.
Yeah, and those two were like two of the most featured fighting extras in like the whole movie.
Right.
Like you got the whole crowded guys, each of which has maybe like 1 second of actual screen time, but these two ladies get like a whole fight scene that's just them, and they both just take it out, forgive the expression, like a bitch. Like, yeah. It's pretty
Forgive
bad.
the expression?
Yeah. Okay, so Wang's pretty legit. Like he does a lot of pretty cool kung fu, but like Eddie seems to be just like the good-looking dude in a suit. He put all his points in charisma.
Right. Next note is just, man, this shit is bananas. After a while, I just started watching it, and just like stuff was happening. I wasn't taking notes, and then just like the crazy sets, and then the ceremony with the burning sword, where they grab the sword and the sword lifts them up, and it's like, okay, they both pass. I'm like, this shit is bananas. This shit is bananas. There's no way.
B-A-N-A. You know how to spell bananas.
Apparently I don't. I just put bananas in here.
This shit is
bananas. Bonanza.
I'll take it.
Jack caught a knife that's thrown at him, throws it back to the main bad guy's head, killing him. Like it was nothing. As we already explained, was his, plus 19 dexterity or something. Well, I wrote this note down. Now I don't know how this doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, just like the movie. Be sure to say it really fast.
Okay, no key, pulls a key out of nowhere, and then he says that's a 6.9 on the Richter scale. What the fuck is he talking about? Oh, right, when he jumps back in the truck.
Yeah.
I think
no key, pulls a key out of nowhere. That's a 6.9 on the Richter scale.
It's when he jumps into the Egg Foo Young bus, right?
No, it's when he gets in his truck.
And he's like, I don't have my key. And it's like, don't you have an extra one? And he's like, no, I don't have an extra one unless wait. And then he just like pulls one out.
Right, which is kind of pointless because like,
and then they go, what is that? And he goes, about a 6.9 on the Richter scale, and then never address it.
I think that's probably like shorthand for like how much of an erection he just got.
Well, I thought it was the rumbling of the truck's engine. That's what I thought it was.
It's boners, dude. Boners.
That almost makes sense, but like, it's like no key. All of a sudden, there's a key. And it's
boner.
What? Boner.
Yep. Boing, okay. Boing. What was that?
It was about a 6.9. You know what I'm talking about.
On the boner scale.
Get it, 69.
Yeah, maybe I
morning
misheard. Maybe it
wake
was
up
boner
with
scale.
4 inches of diamond
Blue
cutter.
steel.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I wake up with a blue vein diamond cutter, all 3 inches.
Yeah. The Wire, season 2.
Yes, sir.
Great season of The Wire there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The Wire's just a solid show.
Yep.
I gotta watch that.
Yes.
It's really good.
Then I have a note about the last little bit to kind of like cool down from the movie. He's paid back from Wang 3 times what he was owed, which I believe was $1,100. So he gets about $3,000 back.
Yep.
And then he says, "I'm rich," and he says, "I can retire and sell my truck." I'm like, okay, you're going to retire on $3,000.
You can buy a lot of Miller at $3,000 in the 80s.
well, his trailer's already paid off, so
Yeah. It was a simpler time.
Yeah, and I said, I wish maybe if it was back in '86, I could retire on $3,000, but because I could pull together $3,000. I can't pull together a retirement, but $3,000 to retire, maybe.
Dude, none of our generation is going to see retirement.
none of our generation.
I know.
None of our generation is going to see $3,000.
That's why escapist movies like this are so great. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
4 out of
Perfect
5
score.
stars. Not a perfect movie, obviously,
Right.
but really fun. It's smothered, covered, and dripping with greasy '80s cheese, due to, in no small part, John Carpenter, who did all the '80s synth pop stuff you hear throughout. Apparently, he did the music for it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was a good score.
You could tell.
Well, he scores a lot of his own shit. Like, I mean, Halloween is all him.
Yeah.
That's a classic score.
Right. This one's just really cheesy.
Oh, yeah.
As was the time. The creature effects are very Carpenter, but not entirely needed, in my opinion. The few creature effects they do have are the Beholder, obviously.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
D&D.
The ape guy, which seemed completely pointless, and Thunder exploding, his epic death where he just gets really big and starts spouting steam.
For
And they
no fucking reason.
For no fucking reason. My point is that there were creature effects in here, and they were by, not by Carpenter, but whoever Carpenter gets to do them. And I didn't really feel like they were really needed for this, because it's still pretty out there without it.
Yeah.
It almost seems like he threw him in there because he's John Carpenter and he's got to do it. I mean, with those kind of effects, they do look pretty creepy and everything. I think they looked best in The Thing, which I still hold up as one of my favorite and scariest movies I've ever seen.
Well,
That's another. That was another thing I thought about this movie. Is like, this is like the anti thing. Like, this is the opposite of everything that makes The Thing great to me. I mean, like the Thing has like good atmosphere, it has great pacing, it has great effects, and
Kurt
this
Russell.
doesn't. Yeah. No, and it has 2 completely different Kurt Russells.
Yes.
That are like
It has one that can act and one that I don't know what happened.
that can machine gun dialogue.
One that they told didn't have to act. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
You're cashing checks in this one.
spoilers. If we ever review The Thing, I think The Thing is one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the remake?
The prequel?
Is that what
No,
it was?
they just did a total remake, right?
It was a remake?
No, it was a prequel.
It's a prequel.
It is a prequel that, for all intents and purposes, might as well be a remake, because it's what happens to the Norwegian camp, which is basically the same thing that happened to the American camp.
Right.
So the movie ends with the dog running away and getting picked up by the...
So, yeah, it's a prequel that takes you literally up to the moment that the original began.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and I refuse to watch it because all the effects are CGI, and apparently they look terrible.
I did watch it, and the tragedy of the new Thing movie is they originally did all the creature effects with puppetry, just like the old school one. And the studio executives said, no, you can't do that in a movie now, we need CG. So they redid all the effects in CG.
Yeah, that sounds like a studio.
Somebody who really, literally did not understand the project that they were making said this will never work. I'm sure that the argument went, this will never work. And somebody said, no, this is the reason people will come see this movie. No, this will never work. You don't know shit. That said, it's actually still pretty great. I really liked it. The CG, it's not the worst CG I've ever seen. Actually, it's pretty good, but it's not what you need to see out of the thing. If you can get past the fact that it's CG, I actually highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead did a great job.
But there's no Wilford Brimley mustache, so
I'm
sorry.
No Wilford. Wait, he didn't even have a mustache in the first one, did he?
Oh, Wilford Brimley always has a mustache, even if it's just implied.
All right.
How can I enjoy the thing without any beatus?
And on that note, Jamie, are you pretty much done? Because I think it's James's turn.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing I have here is the pacing is nonstop, so a kid of the 80s probably would eat it up.
So, James.
All right there, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about this movie. But before I do that, I'd like to sing you a little song. It's marked Allegro con Brio, Coachella listing 643. It's about that lovely vixen in this movie called Kim Cattrall. Here we go. Kim Cattrall, Kim Cattrall, Kim Cattrall. You were in Mannequin, that was a really good movie. Kim Cattrall, you've never made a bad film. Oh, what the hell? You ring my bell, let's go to the Dell, our relationship will gel. I like your smell, you're really swell. I'm Charlton Heston for Cantel. I love you, Kim, I really liked your dress in the Ace Awards. Cattrall!
Okay.
That's gotta be hands down the worst song you've ever released for this podcast.
Well, it's written by Crow T Robot. Shouts out to my MST3K brothers out there. So, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, anytime I see her name, I think that song. so I was singing that over the credits instead of bloop, 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 bloop. All right, so, yeah, this movie. So I tried to watch this movie again not that long ago, but I don't know. I realized I actually kind of had to pay somewhat of attention to it, so I stopped. But the thing that instantly hit me was how long it fucking takes them to actually get to anything in the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And you don't need half of that shit. That was already covered by most of you guys. Moving on, I'm losing my train of thought already. How about
I
that?
actually think we can hear your mind changing.
Yeah, I know.
I think you were on the on board track, and now you're on the not on board track.
Okay, you know what? Forget that, because I'm totally on board with this fucking movie.
Yeah. Hell yeah, you are.
That's not where I thought this was going, but all right.
Yeah. Jack Burton fucking blabbing on into his radio. I mean, either you like it or you hate it, whatever. It's a real thing that fucking happens on that CB shit. So I'm always kind of like, But the thing that gets me is when he's blabbling on about whatever the fuck he's talking about, he always gets and you know what Jack Burton always says when he comes across something like this? Gloves are nice. It's what he has to say. You think he'd say something really laconic or poignant, and it's the most banal shit in the world. Knives are sharp. Yeah, you know what Jack Burton says when he's loaded with college debt and can't afford a house? Cats are cute.
Big boy soup. Big boy soup.
My socks are one color, except for the toes. And I love it at the end when he's fucking quoting himself. Lopan's like, who the fuck is Jack Burton? And by the way, yeah, I'm fucking me. What the fuck? By the way, Lopan played by James Hong. I feel like it's important to say his name because
thank you.
He's been in fucking everything.
Yeah,
he was the we need an Asian guy for the entirety of the 60s to the early 90s. Yeah, I really liked. I like those fucking Lopan's bodyguards guys, ninjas guys there. Like, okay, I thought they were all pretty fucking cool. I liked their armor and I liked their fucking cloaks and everything like that.
Yeah, ready for some lawn jokes?
Yeah, ready for some lawn jokes. No, unfortunately, I'm not going anywhere with this. Their basket hats were fucking dumb, and their fucking chin strap things were fucking dumb. I feel like, but other than that, they were cool. And honestly, when they changed into their suits, they looked even cooler. So why not just have them in suits from the beginning? You know, I mean, that's what I got to say about that.
That's what Jack Burton has to say about that. About Raiden in suits.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail.
The funny thing is that Raiden never took off his basket hat. Like, he was the only guy that stayed in, like, classic Chinese garb the entire film. The other two guys...
Who?
Raiden, lightning guy.
Oh, Dave Thomas found our weddings, for fuck's
sake! Not too late. You missed it. Doesn't count. You were like... Oh, Raiden got a thunder, for fuck's sake!
Oh, man.
You missed
Just like this movie, I feel
count.
like I lost the beat. This movie was fucking crazy, and it was a perfect movie for fucking John Carpenter. Low budget, you put it together super fucking quick. The fucking script made almost no sense, yet it was fucking interesting, and it really got me into it, especially at the end. The kung fu fights, I mean, we always get into this about, like, you know, oh, well, fucking Bruce Lee was doing the amazing fucking kung fu in the 70s, so there's no excuse about the time. Well, despite the fact that this was not as good as Bruce Lee kung fu, it was still pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's really not bad.
No.
For campy movie kung fu.
Yeah, for campy
not
80s
everybody can
movie
be up
cheap
to...
kung fu. And I fucking love Lopan and that guy's fucking mystic thumb battle. Mystic thumb war.
Yeah. I like how like Egg Shen is magicking and Lopan is just playing Game Boy.
I was expecting some Dragon Ball Z shit to go down. I mean, seriously. This movie, I feel like, honestly, it's like prime for a remake. You just can't. Yeah,
well,
I know
you are
I know
they're
they've
in
been,
suit.
Yeah,
they've been
you're
talking
in
about it for ages, and I honestly, I'm not holding my breath.
Have they cast Jack Burton yet?
Yeah,
If
Dwayne
not,
Johnson.
Yep, The Rock.
Well, okay, I love The Rock.
Can you
And I love him.
smell what
The Rock
Jack
is-
Burton's cooking?
I love The Rock and I love him in action comedy, but I kind of feel like that's not who I want to be Jack Burton.
Kurt Russell was pitch perfect in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely great. And like you guys saying he didn't act, but I mean like every line was just fucking perfect, and his expressions and everything, and oh my god.
Possibly
He had one expression which was confused.
Possibly the greatest line in any movie ever created. Huh? What? What don't come out no more?
I thought Wahlberg kind of took that one.
Oh man!
What?
Huh?
No. What?
Actually,
No.
Wahlberg would be a pretty good Jack Burton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love how this movie it came out in the 80s, and it actually took like the politically incorrect thing now of white guy does ethnic thing better than ethnic group. Like Dances with Wolves and Last of the Mohicans
Thunderheart.
and stuff like that. You know how they always kind of had that shit where like, oh, I'll learn, or Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most egregious. Oh, I'll learn how to fight just like these people who have been fighting this way all their lives, and I'll do it better because I'm white. But in this one, Kurt Russell just sucked. Like,
this is the real white man at work. He's terrible.
Yeah. Like it was fucking great.
But for some reason, he's in every shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hell. Yeah, why not?
he's there so the viewer can relate, because as the viewer, you're white and you suck, so you
exactly
put him in there so you can understand.
And oh man, No, the line, like the one line where he's like, "Man, I'm not afraid at all." Man, is it hot in here? You know, would actually do it justice, Jack Burton justice. I feel nowadays probably Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry
he could
Terry
do it.
Crews would be a pretty fucking funny Jack Burton.
Yeah,
but if it was made today, it would be Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
It would be if it was made today, it would be Seth Rogen.
That kind of sucks, but he's also right.
What?
Yeah.
What don't come out no more?
Okay, but do you know who you know who would actually be the best though? Because the best Jack Burton would actually be Chris Pine. Because that dude does not take himself too seriously. He's the handsome guy that's actually secretly super funny. I think Chris Pine would be your modern day Jack Burton.
All right, so I'll finish up here. I got 3 things. One thing, lightning, like the lightning effect that they use in these old movies. I fucking love it. It's time to bring it back. Seriously, like just hand-drawn lightning on shit. I mean, I realize it's a stupid, cheesy effect. It's just so fun. Like the lightning actually has like character. Like, you know, I mean, there's just, if it's good enough for fucking Terminator, it's good enough to be in like fucking anything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So let's have, you know, less CGI, like just, you know, trying to be spectacle and just put lightning all over shit. You know, there's low budget. There's hard, like you're talking how about the good the sets look. Yeah, the sets look great. There's 3 of them. And the one that they blow up, like they blow it up without anybody in frame. If you watch it again, you'll notice that. Because they have like Kim Cattrall like making funny faces in the corner of it, so that they have to go back and do it again. It's just like, fuck, everybody react to it, we'll intercut. And that last set, my god, that like the last set where the second to final boss battle happens, that set is so fucking cool. The fact that they actually had real helium tubes, neon tubes that went around, like outline the things, so like it looked like it was superimposed with like a weirdo outline, like to give it that day glow effect. It looked so trippy and 80s and cool. Like, yeah. Lately nowadays, everybody's like, oh, 80s, and you know, we're doing Double Dragon Neon, and we're doing Blood Dragon, Far Cry, and Moonbeam City, and all that stuff, and it's all the 80s. Hey, remember the 80s? Nothing in the 80s looked like that. This is the only movie in the 80s that looked like they were making fun of. Like this, I feel like Big Trouble in Little China is the only thing that came out in the 80s that everybody just latches onto and thinks is the 80s. Because that aesthetic, I love that aesthetic, but I don't think I've ever seen it in any other 80s movie. And yeah, Moonbeam City is just that second to last fight scene in Big Trouble in Little China, and the covers from Duran Duran albums.
Yeah,
that show looks funny. So yeah, that's it. I love the way it looked, and I did really enjoy this movie. It's fucking cuckoo bananas. And
it was bananas.
It was Cuckoo's Bananas. And
it was Cuckoo's Bananas.
It was so fun. And the only thing that could make it better is better Kung Fu. So I'm all about watching it again with better Kung Fu, better direction, a little bit bigger budget, and let's not fucking load it
dialogue.
with CGI.
I could use a little
More
less dialogue, actually.
Yeah.
I said better dialogue, not a little more sense, a little more plot.
No more plot,
I
just
get it.
a little more sense.
How about just watch the original again? It's fine.
Oh, it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
It's funny. Shit's funny.
It's fine.
The
You
shit's
can
funny.
do that. It's still
It's funny.
there. It's not gone.
I might watch it again.
Yeah, Kim Cattrall. I liked her in this.
Okay.
Sultry.
So I'm
sultry.
gonna take over. I'm gonna take over now and basically
Shit all over the movie.
shit all over the movie. No, actually, I don't have. This is the worst part about it. I don't have a real solid reason as to why I dislike this movie now. When I was a kid, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was like, Big Trouble in Little China, I'm Jack Burton, I'm the greatest. And, you know, when I watched this as a kid, I thought Jack Burton was the hero. He's obviously not. He's not. But as a kid, I thought he was the hero. And since this movie came out, I think I may have, and I'm not kidding you with this. I mean, well, okay, I'm probably over-exaggerating, but maybe not. I think I might have seen this movie close to 200 times.
Wow.
No way.
This is the one that you put on. Like, you just watched it, right? Like, what am I going to do today? I'll just put on Big Trouble in Little China.
This is the one, not only that I put on, but this is the one that I own on VHS. And I own on DVD. I didn't bother to buy it on Blu-ray. This is the one that was put on when I got my PlayStation 4 and I couldn't connect to the internet on Christmas because of Lizard Squad. This was the movie that went into the PlayStation 4 so that we had something to watch on Christmas. Okay? So this is a movie that gets watched a lot in my household. And I think maybe about 2 or 3 viewings ago was when it finally broke for me. I think I have just had too much exposure to this movie, and now when I watch it, I find it boring, and I can't get through the first half anymore. Even though I know fun is coming, and that it's wacky, and that there's going to be all this crazy stuff happening, and when I'm watching it now, I'm just bored to tears. The first part of this movie, nothing happens except people literally just tell each other what has been going on in some part of this movie that did, like, before the movie happened, here's an hour of that movie. You know, here's an hour of us telling you about that movie. This would be no different than me sitting down and looking at you and describing the entire first season of The Walking Dead.
Okay, so Rick wakes up in a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. For example. So yeah, so this is
remember that time Lopan ran everything in Chinatown?
Yep.
No.
And that's but doing it really fast and for an hour. So, you know,
like one of my
so
reviews.
I can't. Like one of James. Actually, this movie has a lot in common with a James review. For the first hour, it doesn't go anywhere, and by the time it gets to the part that's really funny and punchy, you're already asleep.
Shots fired.
No,
it's only shots fired if it's wrong.
But the truth of the matter is that if you have not been overexposed to this, it can be very fun. It is well and truly 80s. It's defining for 80s movies, in fact. And the only thing that it's really missing is a song that just repeats the name of the movie over and over again on top of
because
the really
it's Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Big Trouble.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's
Until it just rolls off the tongue.
Yes. And it's the only thing out of the 80s that is really missing. And if you watch this movie right, it can be very hilarious. But you got to bring a lot to the table to get you there, to get you past that first part, because that first part is really distracting. I think for modern audiences, the fact that like literally nothing fucking happens and they're all talking about shit that you don't
nobody cares about.
There's one other thing about this movie too that it's not specific to this movie, but this movie gets hit the hardest by it. You have to be very, and I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. This movie can suffer if the people in your life who like this movie are the wrong people.
Oh, yeah, I know.
There are certain movies out there.
Like Colin?
Well, no, because this is one of the few. But there are certain movies out there where the movie will not hold up and will be terrible and will be scrutinized, and you will not be able to watch it if the people who like it are all fucking jerks and cocksuckers. This is a movie. That's.
It's like why. Yeah, it's like Rocky Horror.
It's like Rocky Horror, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's not a movie that can stand on its. That can stand in a vacuum. I'm trying to think of something that we've all watched that can do that.
Rocky.
Rocky's a movie that can stand in a vacuum, because a lot of dicks really love Rocky. And I mean a lot of dicks, but you know what? That doesn't impinge on my enjoyment. But I'll tell you, this movie started to turn for me when it started getting a lot of accolades from a very select group of people that I'm not particularly fond of as human beings.
Hey, John, have you ever watched the show called Doctor Who?
Yeah,
Yes.
Doctor Who's the greatest show ever. Doctor Who taught me about friendship.
Yeah,
I used to really like Doctor Who too. I was an OG, or I guess a original Whovian. So much
An OW.
Yeah, an OW.
An owl.
I was an owl, and I
hey,
was an
did
owl.
you know last week it was the day Marty McFly came back from the past? Hey guys, Back to the Future all happens in the past now. Lol.
No, Back to
like,
you know what? Back to the
feel
Future
like James
doesn't.
is making fun of me.
Back to the Future doesn't. Back to the Future always stands on its own. It's a near perfect movie.
It cannot be impugned.
It cannot be impugned. Like Rocky.
Where's our hoverboard? Right?
Where's my flying car?
Okay. Well,
I've never seen the movie, but I
ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break, and we are going to be back with the game.
Hey, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? Am I right?
I've never seen the movie, but I understand now is the time of year to talk about it.
All right. See you in a few.
Man, did you get hijacked?
Yeah, I did. That's all right. That's okay.
Well, that was the guy. That was the guy John was talking about.
That was the guy.
We have all heard that John hates movies. John hates bad movies. But there's one thing he hates even more than that. Being forced to watch bad movies. But you guys, you love it, don't you? You sick, twisted little freaks. Well then, I have got some news that'll make your little sadistic heart jump with joy. You, the listener, can once again force us to watch bad movies. How do you do it? Well, it's simple. Every podcast will ask you a podcast question of the week. It'll be a simple question like, if you had all the time and money in the world, who would you eat? Simply post your answer to the John Hates Movies Facebook page with your listener suggestion. Do not post the question on the Facebook page. If you post the question, your post will be deleted and you will be disqualified for that week. Only post your answer. If you want to win, you have to listen to the goddamn podcast. Every week a winner will be chosen. From there, it only gets more complicated. Every 3 weeks, the winners will be assigned randomly to one of our panels to play the game. That winner will be forced to choose your movie. We watch your horrendous movie, and you're forced to listen to our podcast. Everybody wins. And as always, thanks for listening to John Hates Movies.
This week's question: what would you name your trucker rig?
And welcome back. That's right, folks. It is now time for your favorite part and mine. It is now time for the game. Yay! And we have a special addition and a special announcement here real quick that we're going to make. For those of you who listen to us, you know that we've been very remiss when it comes to our listener suggestions. So once again, we're going to change things up when it comes to the listener suggestion. We'll be posting this on the Facebook page as well. From this point on, we are going to be asking a very specific question at the end of the game, and you can give us an answer by commenting on the actual episode. So give us an answer and a movie. If we really like your answer to our question, then you get to, we will do your movie next. Or, yes.
I can do a whole thing, but
it works out.
basically,
It'll be much more clear on the Facebook page. I promise you.
John Hates Movies does your movie.
Yes, we do your movie.
If you win the thing, then you will be chosen of one of three
What
winners.
We will
be...
approach you with a riddle, and if you have great success,
then we'll pick your
will
name out of a hat, and if you shoot the target
also
with an arrow,
choose to movie, and we will engage with you as such.
All right. Anyway, it'll be much clearer on the Facebook page. I promise you, it'll make more sense. But we're going to be giving you a question. You're going to have to answer it, and the questions will only appear in the episode. So, yeah, non-listeners, you guys are kind of out of luck now. So, with that being said, Colin, I believe you have a game for us.
Oh, hi, it's me, Colin, podcast reviewer. Wait, anyway.
Podcast reviewer?
Yes, and this podcast is the worst podcast I've ever been on.
No, it's not.
No. We're going to do a new game today, which I have dubbed Ruin It. I have assigned each of you a movie in secret. Your job is to come up with a character, much like Jack Burton, that does not belong in that story whatsoever. Tell us what your movie is, what your character is, and how you ruin that movie. Much like Jack Burton ruined that poor guy's D&D game. I don't have a specific order in mind for who could go first, so if anyone's ready, go right ahead.
I'm ready, but I really don't want to go first.
Well, I want you to go first.
Then I'm going to go first.
John, I choose you.
Oh, all right. So,
Wiggly Bum.
Pissy Pop. All right. Yes.
Pissy Pop.
So, my movie was The Karate Kid.
Ooh.
A good movie.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
And I know exactly what character I would be playing. I would be playing Johnny, the Wizard! That's right. I would be Danielson's friend, who is also somehow a wizard. And I enhance the movie by using my magic powers to assist Daniel with his kung fu, so that when he engages in the tournament and he's about to lose and all that kind of stuff, I wizard magic, and it'll make like a little tinkly sound, you know. Wizard magic his opponents so that they don't like connect with their punches and they fall down, and a lot of hilarious stuff ensues, you know, very slapsticky, so that everything that Daniel's learned throughout the movie is totally invalidated, because during the climax, really what saves him is my wizarding powers.
So instead of Daniel growing as a human and learning karate, instead you just magic missile the guy that goes to sweep his leg.
That's right. Right in the face.
Magic missile.
But, you know, I'll be very, very, I'll be very happy about it. And then, of course, you know, at the end, we'll all freeze frame laugh, you know, like somebody will make a pun and I'll just go, ha, 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 and, you know. Yeah, exactly.
It's the mash ender. Okay, very good. Who's ruining what next?
All right, I can go.
Thank you, James.
All right, so I've got The Island of Dr. Moreau. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a character who is, a human-animal hybrid. And he's going to be half human ninja, half turtle. And his name will be Michelangelo. And instead of, worrying about all these high-minded ideals about, man and animal and their place, he's just gonna, kind of want to kick butt and party and eat pizza and just like, what's your big deal, man? Let's party, dude. All right. And he's like surfing on the island and stuff. And, they've all got those neck things on, and he just like pops them off real quick. And he's like, man, that's not cool. And, Moreau and all those people are trying to shoot him down. He's just like, just like, guns are bad, okay? And he knocks them all out of their hands and stuff. And like, he gets April to come over. He calls her on his cell phone. And the island of Dr. Moreau gets reported and everybody hears about it. And he's just like, yeah, we're animals. We're half humans. We're half ninjas. We just like to party down, brah. And he goes surfing and he teaches all the animals to surf. And it's just a great time. And that's the end.
So I have to ask James, which version of the Island of Dr. Moreau does Michelangelo appear in?
The one with Marlon Brando, of course. So him and Val Kilmer can go surfing.
Sweet.
Charlie don't surf.
Skeet surfing.
Yep. Your name's not Charlie, right? No. Then we can surf.
Surf.
Okay, so I suppose I can be next. The movie that Colin gave me was Convoy, obviously, because my dad was in Convoy. So
what with the trucks and all?
Right. So the person who and is it like us playing the character that goes into the movie and ruins it, or is it just somebody in the movie like that shouldn't be there?
I mean, in my mind, it's played by you.
Okay, so the person that I'm playing.
That changes mine a bit.
So the person I'm playing, so Convoy came out in 1978, but the person that I'm playing really loved this one 1974 movie about a vigilante who settled the score and took no prisoners. So he would be playing the cop. He would be playing Ernest Borgnine in Convoy, but he really loved Death Wish. With Charles Bronson. So as soon as my dad and the other truckers cross the cop, he just starts putting their fucking bodies on ice. Like so they get to the rest stop where they're like getting food and they're having their little cop fight, and he fucking just like pulls out a double barrel shotgun and starts like slaying people. And then like everybody thought that it was just gonna be like a fun, like, oh, let's rough it up and it's an old punch out fight that everybody has fun with. And he just starts like fucking shooting people. So then after that happens, the rest of the movie is just like Rubber Duck's like friends running away from Charles Bronson, and he's just like one by one killing them all, and that is Convoy.
So wait, you're Charles Bronson, or Charles Bronson's Charles Bronson?
I'm Charles Bronson.
All right,
I would
okay,
totally fucking watch that movie.
Eric as Charles Bronson causes Convoy to be a massacre.
Oh my god, that movie would be so sweet.
Oh my god, it's so awful.
Trucker killer.
Wow.
Wow.
That's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, so stakes are high, Jamie. What do you got?
Well, the movie I'm going to ruin is one of my all-time favorites, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And the way it's ruined, apparently by me, is by a character named Chico Jimenez.
Oh, no.
And Chico really, really, really likes George McFly.
Oh, no.
So he's like, Chico is kind of I wouldn't necessarily say effeminate, but more of a superhero level of gay. And
like Ace and Gary.
Yeah, and he's very particular about his hair. He actually did travel to 1955 from the future, back where time was it was okay to be out loud and proud. But when he gets back there, he just sees George and he's got to have him, and that's just something that Marty can't deal with, because I don't know what kind of family dynamic that would put for him. So he's got to try and get George with Lorraine and keep Chico away from George. And George is very resourceful. He fits into the 50s surprisingly well for as effeminate and everything he is. And he keeps making passes. He kind of gets in the way and cock blocks George when he's trying to hit on Lorraine by hitting on George. And it just makes this whole mess, and Doc's trying to intervene, and he figures that if he can try and kill Chico, he can't disrupt the timeline too badly. So now Doc has got to like get that gun that he has from earlier in the movie, that revolver. That's when he actually purchases it, and he sets out to take out Chico before Chico can disrupt the space-time continuum. So what Doc ends up doing is he goes to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance with Chico as his date. And he's packing heat under his shoulder, in his shoulder strap. He's not going to try any moves or anything. He's just going to try and, like, as soon as it's a clear shot and nobody's around, he's going to take him out. But then Biff shows up. And Biff's latent homosexuality kind of comes out, and he's like, because Chico kind of brought this thing out in him, and he's wow, I've gotten off the rails.
I know, where's this going?
I know, I was like, oh my god. First
He's
off,
just still talking.
First off, I do not like this at all, because this is so wrong. And two, that's not how gay works.
Let me get this
This
straight.
is how it ends up. Lorraine ends up with George, as it should be, so that Marty can be born. Doc ends up shooting Chico in the leg, only winging him, doesn't kill him, but he and Biff run away.
Or limp away.
So
let me get this straight. Marty McFly goes back in time.
Yes.
But Chico cannot help but dive into the rear of the DeLorean.
Of course.
And stows away, going back in time. At which point he falls in love with George McFly. Right. And George, who we now know is bicurious, was considering some life choices.
Did I say that?
You posed it as you posed Chico as a definite risk. So
I guess that would be all right. Yeah, all right.
Thank
It was
goodness
implied.
we were saved by Biff's latent homosexuality. But we also had the backup plan of Doc murdering somebody.
Yes.
Wow.
Can I ruin a movie or can I ruin a movie?
You ruined it straight up, but in all honesty, it's still not as good to me as Charles Bronson Murder Spree. I'm sorry. Eric wins for Charles Bronson Murder Spree. But A++ for effort. That was something.
Hey,
Mine had murder, kinda.
Yours had the potential for murder, but
that's true. All right.
But gay love conquered all. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I mean, I expect that from James, but from you,
You know, guys, I'm. So, do you want to know what we're gonna watch next week?
I would love to know what we're watching next
so
week.
I'm gonna pick a movie that Chico would love to go back in time and woo the leading man from this movie, because we're gonna watch because all these movies have obviously been Brovember movies. This has got to be, I've never seen it, but I imagine that this is the most Brovember movie of all time. I'm talking, of course, about the Patrick Swayze classic Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. That's right, everybody. Next week we are going to be watching the Patrick Swayze classic Roadhouse.
Yes.
About the secret lives of bouncers.
Swayze!
He's a cooler.
Yes, he's a cooler.
Fucking Patrick Swayze.
Who hasn't seen it besides Eric?
I have not
I
seen
haven't
it.
seen it.
Oh, you guys are in for a treat. You guys are
Swayze.
in for a treat.
Swayze eyes.
Swayze, give me your answer, dude.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Goddamn Patrick Swayze.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say, "Hello, my name is John, and I'm a hot podcast host."
I'm a hot podcast host?